Okay. Try this on the ultra low latency version now. See if this works. Okay, so I'm assuming this might be working. Let's pop this up over here, and I will make it a little smaller for me so I can see. Alrighty. So I am not sure if this is working. I think it should be. Hopefully the quality's good. So just had a couple of things I was wanting to tinker with and unbox and show this evening on the off chance that somebody sees this and comes in. Come on in. If you're watching it after, thanks for watching. So the big thing I've been playing with since the last live stream is, let's see here, messing around with this box. I think it might have been, I think I might have shown this in something. I can't remember what was public versus the 37 videos I sent to RetroCombs. And RetroCombs, thank you for helping give me some feedback on some of the test streams. Appreciate it. So this camera now, I've got it mounted in a different place. This is still a Canon T5, but I'm using the HDMI out, clean HDMI out on it, into one of those cheap HDMI capture cards. And to me, the light needs to maybe be fixed a little bit, but to me this looks a ton better than the webcam software. So I've got this, I know I was talking about the old box or whatever. So this is some of the componentry I got out, but I've been messing with, but probably uses way too much power, but we'll talk about that, an option to that in a second. But this is a old, let's see, is this a Gigabyte board? This is a Gigabyte GA-M68MT S2P from, a few years ago. And when I had it, using it for my main desktop, it was not new or cutting edge, and it's even older now. The CPU now is that Phenom 2 X6, so 6-core 1055 something or another. So it's a 6-core AMD. And right now in OBS, as I'm looking when I'm streaming right now, it's at 21% CPU. So that's pretty good. Of course, this thing is sucking down some power. And I thought that I had an old NVIDIA card here. This is a, oh shoot, this is a, yeah, let's see here. Can you see? GT, let's see here. There we go. GeForce GT 430. I thought, hey, maybe this will let me do the NVIDIA encoding, like so to offload the CPU or whatever, so the older machine could be okay as a dedicated streaming machine just for experimenting. That was not the case. This one's too old for that and doesn't do it. So I picked up a used GeForce, I think, is it a 474, which is different than the mainstream 475. I guess I learned after picking this up, the 474 is a specific Dell OEM thing that they made with, I guess, in partnership with NVIDIA. So that was kind of interesting. But that's in here now. And I got a PCI 3 card to plug in there, but I don't think that the bus on this one, or the slot, is really set up or will allow, the full, this is a 4-port PCIe USB 3 card. Because there's, when I was playing around with the cameras also on this the first time around, it was too much, these two USB HD captures, they would not work. But, so I got that card. I don't think I can do all 4 of these. But it's working now. I can have these 2 sources. That's what you're looking at right now. So that seems to be working okay. And this, is kind of an old setup. Man, I lost my train of thought what I was going to say. So that's working now. Had to get some extra USB bandwidth for both capture cards to work. And I was trying my darnest to get things to work in Linux. But I don't know, for whatever reason, and it seems like I'm not alone here, to get the NVIDIA encoding and acceleration stuff to work in Linux currently seems to be kind of a pain with some of the stuff I've got. One comment I read that said it was like there's some trouble or getting things to work right because these this has an NVIDIA, the motherboard has an NVIDIA chipset too, so there's something that's not quite working right with that. So I tried and tried, but it was just eating up time, so I relented and because I didn't want to do it. But this has Windows 10 on it now, and the latest version of OBS, which is what, 29 maybe even. So that's what I'm coming to you through on this box. And you know, it's putting off a good bit of heat, but again, it's at 21% CPU, which is pretty cool. I don't think I'm dropping any frames really. So yeah, I've dropped 0 frames, but now I don't know if the machine has picked up on what frames it has sent out, but it seems to be pretty good. Let's see here. So anyway, that's what, you know, this thing is that I've been kind of playing with, because I'm thinking about having some kind of dedicated streaming rig that's even kind of hidden away up under the desk here, so it's obviously not up here, and I can have a couple of displays related to that out of the way if this is something I want to keep doing. We'll see. If you happen to be watching, hop in the chat and say, hey, I want to try something and see if it works here. Just feel free to say, hey, I don't think anybody's watching, but in case you are, let me flip over here and see. 0 views. And I think I am public, right? It is public. All right, that's cool. I didn't announce it or anything, so I don't even have the friendly guaranteed people here. What's going on? Did I just restart the stream? Oh, I need to close this. It's getting confused. All right. Hopefully this is not screwing up the having multiple streams here, because that is not what I wanted to have happen. Okay. Hopefully this is still the same singular stream that we've got going on here. Okay. I think that's right. I'm going to put one hand up and see what the delay is here on the latency. Okay, well, I guess good enough. Alrighty. I'm getting off track, aren't I? So that's what this is. Now, I was looking at a bunch of different things and some different AMD systems, and this was kind of fun. In the process, I put the newest Ubuntu, which I hadn't played with a new install of Ubuntu in a while. And then after talking with Retro Combs, or Dr. Combs, we were talking about Manjaro, because I had used Arch a long time ago, and even Linux from scratch, but it's been forever ago. But I gave that latest Manjaro with the, I like that lightweight desktop, the XFCE version, and that was really slick, but I still ran into the same problems. But I'm going to go back to that, or I may end up playing with that on one of these boxes. I've got some other parts I'm messing with here, so that's what I'm going to show some of the stuff here in a minute or two. Alright, so let's go. I'm assuming no one's on here. If you are, say hey. I want to try to see if the chat dilly thing here works. 0 viewers. Alright, fine. That's okay. I know some people watch this after the fact. Okay, so the first thing I want to show, which is kind of on the topic of streaming PC, is this thing here. Hopefully, I've got my personal information out of wrap. Always good. So, got a little thing here. It may look familiar to some of you all. Lenovo. Looks like a laptop power supply, right? Kinda, sorta. But stand by and you'll see what we have here. Alrighty, let's get this guy open here. We can get through the tape there. Again, this looks like just a really bad idea. Doing your unboxing on top of your system that's doing the stream. Hey. Give you something to talk about. Okay, I'm just unwrapping this. Not very exciting. But maybe that's part of the unboxing experience. Alright, so this is what it is here. Pretty cool, I think. This is a little Lenovo ultra small form factor system. And you can see it's got some USB 3 ports on it here, 2 in the front with your audio power button there, and in the back you've got, so you got that similar little Lenovo style laptop battery, or I'm sorry, power, connection there. You've got 2 display ports and 4 more USB 3 ports. So that's the big thing that I liked, a bunch of USB 3. And I think, is that another display port? So you got a third display port here, gigabit Ethernet. There's a ability to have wireless in these, but this one doesn't have it. And so this one has, I believe, I don't know the chip off, but it's a Core i5, and it has 8 gigs of RAM. It has no SSD, but I've got a couple I've been digging up out of the junk pile. There's one, and I've got a new one here. I'm trying to decide if I want to use this one or take it back. I picked it up a few weekends ago, but technically I may not need it. I don't know. I'm thinking about it though. That's just the Best Buy branded, kind of overpriced compared to what you can get online, 240 gig there. So I don't know. But what I'm thinking is, even though I had a ton of fun messing with this guy and the whole NVIDIA card thing, I'm gonna because I really want to use Linux for the streaming if I can. I'm gonna try to put switch back here. I'm gonna try to put possibly Linux on here, and even though this doesn't have 3D acceleration, I want to see what the load is and if it can do similar quality settings as what you're seeing now as it is, because this thing, I could literally like make a bracket and tuck it under the bench here, this workbench, and it would be completely out of the way. And I'm sure this does not use, this is 125, I think this is 125 watt or TDP or whatever on that chip. I still love it. I think it's cool. And for normal everyday PC stuff, this machine would still technically be okay, but it's probably not the best idea. But I just wanted to play around, and it gives me a place to play around with other Linux stuff until it, is too slow to run that. If I want to run it on real hardware and not play with emulation. So I don't think I'm getting rid of that stuff. But if I can make this thing is like, wow, let's see here. I'm sure I could just pull up a website for you, but let's see. I'll get the calipers out here. It is, I don't need batteries, I think. Of course, the calipers I grabbed are dead. But this does have some old school numbers on it. So let's see here. This is about, what is that? 30, is that like about 35 millimeters wide or tall that way? I'm pretty sure I can't do it this way. Yeah, I'm not, but yeah, it's really thin. There's probably some kind of VESA mount thing I could find for this too. I could just stick that up under the desk maybe. Or if I mount a display over here, and I mount a display like over here to my right for seeing the stream or something, I could probably just mount this machine to the back of it. So that's kind of cool. I want to see what that does. I'm going to check and see. No chat. Probably no viewers. No viewers, no chat. It's all good. Okay, good deal. All right, so back over here. So that's one thing. This is the, like I said, the M900, is that what this is called? ThinkCentre M900 is what this is called. ThinkCentre M900. So I'm anxious to play with that. The time allows. But this may be a kind of a crazy week since we had the day off. There's a lot of stuff to catch up on. So let's see. I showed you the SSDs. Oh, yeah. So here's the, on the Commodore retro side of the house thing, we've got this that came in from, let's see here. Yeah. Hungary, right? Yeah, Hungary. So I'm going to open this right here. I think I don't have any address stuff showing. Let me just make sure there's nothing in the bag here, and I'll pull these out. I've been waiting to open this up to see it with you. Let's see what we got here. Go back to the bench on the shot there, so you can see. I think we have Should be some TED stuff here. Whoa, that's going to make me a lot brighter. See my paper napkin little barn door I was experimenting with there tonight? Let me try to stick that back up there again. Okay. That's why they call it the Hack Shack, right? Okay. I'll look right here real quick. Nothing. Okay. All good. All right, so back over here. Let's open this up and see what we have. A few chips, right? So we've got this tape off of here out of the way. We've got the 8501 here. Let me get my frame of reference here. So you got CPU, and it should be pretty much, the rest of these should be the full complement of like the PLA and kernel and anything else that's needed for a TED machine to get going. So let's see here. Let's just see. 27th week of 84 on this one. 27th week of 84 on this 251641. 47th week of 84. 47th week of 84. What is this one? 38th week of 84. And 28th week of 84. I've got, like I said, I wanted to have some extras, and I've got my C16 over here that I want to kind of clean up, and it was up and running, but I wanted to kind of give it the once over like the one I gave to Dr. Combs. And I've got I've got a C116 too. I think I've shared that on social media, but this is that guy. I don't know if I've shown it on here or not. So I'm anxious to fire this up too. But again, this is PAL, and there's a lot of interrelated topics here that are kind of coming together. But I guess I'll talk about those right now. So the one thing interrelated was, I'm hoping, when I'll switch back so I'm talking to you. So last live stream, when I unboxed the clear monitor, I've got it set up over here because of something else you'll see later with a prepared video, where I bought it and I thought it said it had HDMI, or I thought I saw it in the picture, but then when I unboxed it, it didn't. It turns out like the label's even there, but the port on the side, it had one of these properties, and I thought it was like a property sticker, but it's like a tamper evident. Those things like when you peel it off, it says void or something. But it's like they had the HDMI port blocked off, which is interesting to me. I wonder if there's a storage or something that goes beside that, or I feel like I'm on repeat here. I wonder if there was some folks like getting little stick type media players, and maybe they had some content on them when they had them inside the facility that was not approved. So that was a part of something they stuck on all these, and maybe they inspected it. I don't know. That seems kind of, I don't know, not very fun, I guess. But here we go. Yeah. So it does have an HDMI port. To get back to the thing with this, it has an HDMI port, and I've got a RC, like a composite to HDMI, and I need to test. I don't know how much lag it puts in, but to me, and I think if I understand how things work, whether it's PAL or not, then I should be able to see a display on my HDMI display with this. So that'll be a way I can actually see this, because I don't have a way to look at PAL any other way, and I don't have a retro tink, but people seem to speak highly of those, so I may get one before it's over with. And I've also got a C64G that I've never even turned on, and I got it at Vintage Computer Festival 2021. So, and there's a whole thing, I could probably make a video on it. I thought it was an Audi C64, but it's still neat, because I don't have one, but it's just a C64G, not an Audi one. So I was a little bit mixed up there when I got that one. So one more C16 related thing, which was something I was wanting to show you. So, and maybe when you're watching, hopefully Steven will see this. So I was looking again, you know, when I was doing back before Christmas, when I was freshening up that C16 for retro cones, I was between being in a hurry or something, I was just looking for a 9-volt DC adapter, and I knew I had some ends that would fit, and I would just get it, and I knew I was probably gonna have to flip it around for center negative and hack an end on it. But I was goofing around the other day, like last week, and I was like, I'm sure there's one of these out there on Amazon or whatever, and in fact there was. So this is I'll put a link to the listing when this goes up, this stream or whatever. But this is a little 9-volt adapter. Well, you know what? I've got the thing right here. Let's make sure it fits. This is a 9-volt adapter. Yep, see that fits in there? No problem. This is a 9-volt, but it's center negative. Yeah, I don't know if you can see there where it shows that it's center negative. It should focus, maybe. Center negative. 9-volt center negative with the right size, no hacking needed. So you can get this, and this should work for a 116 or a 16, a 116 or a 16 with no hacking. So, Steven, if you want to trade me the hack one for one of these, I'll be glad to, and I can keep that hack one here. But I've got 2 of these, so let me know. And I'll put a listing, since this is a $10 thing that I know that some other places may sell the same thing for a similar price, but if somebody's charging $20 for a Commodore or whatever, unless it's got some special sauce and has a provable higher level of quality, this will probably be fine. So that's one thing there. These aren't very exciting things. I just got a couple of you know, these regular old USB extension doodads, because, you know, like when you're using these, I don't have the case here, but they fell in the box too. You know, when you're using the those USB dongles, if they're plugged straight into the USB port without some kind of strain relief, it's gonna probably break them. So that just lets me plug that dongle into there, and it gives me a little flexibility where it's plugged into the port. And that some of them come with them, but I've gotten a couple that don't. So I got a couple of those. And oh yeah, here's a kind of a neat thing. Back during the holidays, I found some or New Year's, like I was going through a bunch of floppy disks that I had gotten from a big bulk buy several years back, and I'd looked at some, but I've never really gone through them properly. And you know, the topic came up, which was, yeah, it was a good thing to talk about, probably to clean the floppy drive every so often, if doing that. So I picked up a hopefully it's okay. There's a guy on Etsy, and I didn't know he's from Italy. But he makes these little cleaning discs. But his whole thing is that the media is not quite as aggressive as what is in the ones that you find out there, you know, or that were from back in the day. So he's got these guys. He kind of makes them. So I thought that was kind of neat. So I've got this handy to kind of run through the machine. If I decide to start bulk messing with these guys or imaging them, so I don't run into any trouble, I can keep my heads clean. But this is not quite as aggressive, and it won't put any extra wear and tear on the heads just from cleaning. And that guy, he is on Etsy. You'll find him. He's, you know, I'll throw this out there. I don't know. Bafo71. I've not been to that website. I assume it's not something terrible, but that's the guy. He threw it in with his Etsy order, so I'm assuming maybe he's got better prices direct than through Etsy, without Etsy taking their cut, right? So that's that. Okay. All right, let's see here. Oh yeah, and also I think I don't know if I've mentioned it on a stream yet, but yeah, so the last live stream when I unboxed that small stereo for my kid, and it was a Sony, right? And I was thinking it was Bluetooth. There is a model of, and you can see very clearly if you go back and watch that when I've got the manual page up where it talks about what each model does, and I tell you the model that I've got, very clearly the model that I bought does not have Bluetooth, right? So that, okay. So This might be a future video just for something fun to do. This is one of these little, I'll put a link in the thing later for people watching this later. I don't have it up to share right now, but this is just from Amazon, and I'm sure I've seen these all over the place. This is a, I'm going to hold it up on the piece of cardboard so you can see it. Just like a sub, I think it might even be sub $10 little, it's just one of these modules that's got power input, and you can have audio input either through a 1/8 plug, or it's got direct solder points for left, right, and ground for audio. And this will give you Bluetooth in a device. So I was thinking, just for messing around, I could stick that inside that Sony, maybe put an on-off switch so it's not on if the stereo's on all the time, hide that somewhere, and that should give that Bluetooth capability if the kid wants to use that ever. I don't know. It seems like they've got the earbuds stuck in their head half the time, so they may not ever use it, but we will see. So I picked up a couple of those. I think it was like two of these for under 20 bucks. So that was, I don't know, be something fun to kind of play with, I think. Let's see here. Anybody here? Just gonna look. Nope. All right. All right. I think that is most of the stuff I was going to talk about. I do have a prepared video that is this close to being finished, and it is related to the audio stuff, the tape data, getting into the micro channel, micro color, the MC-10 Tandy, the little small chicklet key Tandy that I picked up at this year, or actually not this year, September 2022 Vintage Computer Festival Midwest. But I did get to test it. Well, you'll see in that video if you watch it. That allowed, because this thing only has RF out, and it's not a simple task of the way the chip on this does the video. To my understanding, it's not a simple task of hacking it to be composite. It's a whole thing. And there's a guy that makes kits, but I've been checking since I bought this back in September, and I don't know if he's made any more, or if he makes them, they're gone before I get a chance to think about seeing them. If you look at, gosh, Taylor and Amy and Taylor, they got an MC-10 at some point a little bit before that, and they were able to commandeer or get one of the composite kits, but I don't have one of those, so I'm still been using RF. But that allowed me also, I could test the RF of this Prison TV, which is also going to be a lot thinner for the desktop when I get this 1702 off. So the RF works. I haven't tried the composite. The HDMI works. I didn't do anything fancy. I just this PC right here, actually, I hooked the HDMI just to see the BIOS screen, just say, hey, it works, because I wasn't sure if it was tagged and maybe it was electronically disabled, but I should have known better. That would have been too fancy to do maybe for these TVs. So I just need to make sure and check out the component or composite inputs on that. So that is what is coming. I had that video, just have to do a voiceover really for that, and it's ready to go. It should be, what it's about is kind of interesting. It's answering a question that someone posed after I posted that last video. And I think that is it. So if you happen to see this, or if you're stopping by, I'll hang out for just another minute on the off chance somebody pops in and wants to chat or shoot the breeze. Otherwise, I will wrap up in a couple of minutes here. But if you're watching this after the fact, thanks for watching. And comment and let me know what you think about the quality. So like the down-facing camera is an old Vixia, gosh, it is not the fancy Vixia. It's not one of those G ones. So I feel like, and I'm capturing this HDMI for live streams is kind of basically what the viewfinder would see, the HDMI out. It's not like what the quality is when you're saving to the SD card. Same thing for the face camera here, but I think the face camera obviously looks a little better than that. But with enough light, is that down-facing camera passable for live streams, you think? Let me know what you think. I don't know. And also the audio. So this is like a little cheap shotgun mic, but the big thing that's saving me here, I think, is the OBS has a nice, seems like it works pretty well, noise remover. Because this room, I can't change. I've got a radon fan here that has to run all the time. So it makes it kind of noisy in here. And then the CPU fan's pretty loud. So it does a pretty good job, I think. I don't know if it makes it sound a little more harsh. And there's something possibly, but there you go. All right, so I'm going to just show here. I'm going to type something in the chat because I've been playing around with the, because I like how Retrocombs and others can pick a message in the chat, make it pop up. This isn't fancy center or anything, but I'm just going to say, I'm going to put a message in here. Test. I want to see if this will work. So I've got a chat message in there, and I want to see if, hey, okay, I want to highlight this message. So let's see if this pops up. Hey, did it? All right, it did. That's pretty cool, huh? So yeah, this is a test. Okay. And then I can just click right over here and I can clear it. It should go away. Right on. All right. Well, that's about all I wanted to do. If you are watching this after the fact, thanks for watching. And please feel free to throw a comment in. And if not, keep your eyes open or ears open, whatever, for the MC-10 video. Take care. Have a good rest of the week. Bye-bye.